Welcome. I am your host, Susanna May O'Hagan, and today we're talking about the murder of Bobby Greenlease? Greenlease? I'm terrible at names. Murder of Bobby. Robert Cosgrove Greenlease Jr., February 3rd, 1947, September 28th, 1953, was 6 years old from Kansas City, Missouri, United States, who was the victim of a kidnapping and homicide. On September 28th, 1953, his father, Robert Sr., was a multi-millionaire auto dealer, and the deemed ransom payment was the largest in American history at the time. Greenlease Jr. kidnappers Carl Hall and Bonnie Hattie had no intention of returning him to his family, the child having been murdered before the ransom demand was even issued. Both proprietaries were sentenced to death and executed in Missouri's gas chamber in December 1953. Hattie was the third woman ever to be executed by U.S. federal authorities. Bobby Greenlease and his father in 1953. Location Lenox, Kansas, USA. Date September 28, 1953. Attack type child murdered by shooting. Child abduction. Weapon a .38 caliber Snipe Smith and Wesson revolver. Victim Robert Cosgrove Bobby Greenlease Jr., age 6. Partnership Carl Austin Hall and Bonnie Emily Brown. Motive ransom. Vindicated, pleaded guilty, convicted kidnapping, burial, Foster Hill Cemetery, sentenced death. Robert Cosgrove Jr. was born to Robert Sr. 1882 to 1969, and Virginia Greenlease 1909 to 2001. His second wife on February 3rd, 1947. They were married in 1939. Greenlease's first wife was Betty Rush, 1890 to 1950, whom he married on March 3rd, 1913. The elder Greenlease was a multi-millionaire car dealer and an entrepreneur, having made his fortune by introducing General Motors vehicles to the Great Plains in the early 20th century, owning dealerships from Texas to South Dakota. He was 65 years old when Bobby was born in 1947. The Greenlease was said to have been devoted to Bobby. According to author John Hayden, Bobby was said to be a trusting boy. Bonnie Hattie later stated that from the moment she appeared at his school posing as his aunt to take him to his mother, he just took her hand and did anything he was told to do. In September 1953, Carl Hall and Bonnie kidnapped Bobby from Notre Dame de Sion, a Catholic preschool located in Kansas City, Missouri. The kidnappers were drug alcoholics, then living together nearby St. Joseph's. In the early 1930s, Hall had attended Camper Military School in Bonneville with Paul Robert Greenlease, Bobby's adopted older brother. Hall had planned for years to victimize his former classmate's wealthy family. Hattie visited Bobby's school and persuaded a nun, Sister Amanda, that she was his aunt, telling her that his mother had suffered a heart attack and was in St. Mary's Hospital. She then took Bobby away in a taxi driven by John Oliver Hager of the Ace Cab Company, who would testify in court. One another nun from the school arranged to inquire about Virginia Greenlease's condition, she discovered the truth and that her husband contacted the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Hal and Hattie took the children across the state line to Johnson County, Kansas, where Hall shot him dead with a Nobo's .38 caliber revolver. They then took the child's body to St. Joseph's and buried him in the backyard of Hattie's house at 1201 South 38th Street. Jeez Louise, people. Ransom. After the murders, Hal and Hattie sent Bobby's father a message in the mail and phone calls demanding a ransom of $60,000. In today's money, it would be $6.8 million. Greenlease, desperately trying to save his son, held off the authorities and paid the money. At that time, it was the largest ransom ever paid in American history and remained so until the 1972 kidnapping of Virginia Piper. We'll do that case next, I guess. Hal became convinced that the police would trace him and Hattie to St. Joseph's, so he randomly decided to drive to St. Louis. The couple collected the ransom and fled. The arrest. Once in St. Louis, Hal and left Hattie in the middle of the night in a rented room. He contacted criminal associates to enlist their help in diverting police attention. One of the associates, from a former tango worker named Sandra O'Day. Really? That's her name? Wow, that's a name. Was supposed to fly to Los Angeles and mail a letter Hal had written. It was thought that this would divert police attention from St. Louis. However, O'Day caught a glimpse of the ransom money. St. Louis police soon learned that Hal was flaunting a large sum of money, and they brought him in for questioning. Hal eventually inculpated Hattie. The police found her at an apartment at 4504 Arsenal Street, discovered Bobby's body in a shallow grave in her backyard. Bobby was later interred in the family mausoleum at Forest Hill Carville Cemetery in Kansas City. Bobby's kidnapping and murder scandalized the nation. Because he had been taken over state lines, the crime became a federal case under the Federal Kidnapping Act. Hal and Hattie both pleaded guilty to kidnapping. The jury deliberated an hour and 8 minutes before recommending a death sentence. The two were executed together in the Missouri gas chamber on December 18, 1953. Only 11 weeks and 4 days passed between the time the crime was committed and the execution. Neither Hal nor Hattie made any attempts to appeal. Hattie is one of only 4 women to have ever been executed by federal authorities as of 2021. Only 4? You have to be one of the 4. Wow, lady. The other being Lincoln's assassination conspirator Mary Sauter, and in 1865, and Ethel Rosenberg, who, along with her husband Jules, was convicted of being a Soviet spy and executed by electric chair on June 19, 1953, just months before Haiti. The 4th woman, Lisa Montier of Kansas, was executed by lethal injection on January 13, 2021 for the 2004 murder of Bobby Joe Saint. Since the federal government did not have any execution facilities, Missouri state facilities, and thus then legal gas chambers were used to carry out the execution. This was the case for a federal execution in the early 20th century, before the first execution at the federal prison in Ontario, Indiana in 2001. Haiti is only woman executed by federal government by gassing. Haiti is buried in Kmart, Norway County, Missouri, where she grew up. Only 288 $100,000 of the ransom was recovered. The missing $312,000 remains a subject of wide speculation. Some of the theories, according for this Weir, a cab driver who took Hal to the Coral Court Motel, had tipped off local mobster Joseph J. Costello. Hal tried unsuccessfully to bury the cash near the Murky River, though the FBI later searched their area in vain. Suitcases in Hal's possession upon his arrest were not brought to the 11th District Precinct Station by the arresting officers. Lieutenant Lewis Eyre, Shoulders and Palomar Ember Dolan. Shoulders and Dolan told a grand jury that the $288,000 they turned over was the full amount seized from Hal when they arrested him. This statement was determined to be false. In fact, it was alleged the Shoulders had taken the balance of $60,000 ransom that Hal had on him at the time of the arrest. Both officers were subsequently federal indicted for and convicted of perjury. Shoulders was convicted on April 15, 1954, and sentenced to 3 years in prison. He died on May 12, 1962. Donnellan was convicted on March 31st, 1954, and sentenced to 2 years in prison. 1962, he informed the FBI that he had purged because his fear of Shoulders exceeded his fear of prison. Donald received a pardon from the U.S. President Lyndon B. Johnson on July 21st, 1965. Pop culture. The case was the subject of an episode of the investigative Discovery series, A Crime to Remember, Bobby Come Home, Season 2, Episode 8, as well as an episode of the investigation Discovery series Deadly Woman entitled Under His Control. During an episode of Ghost Adventures, Season 9, Episode 4, Zach begins a team investigating the haunting at the Missouri State Penitentiary. During this investigation, it was explained that one woman was executed in the gas chamber of a prison. Max Allan Collins' novel The Big Bundle features the Greenlease kidnapping. The historian Shelby Flitter wrote a historic novel called September about 3 misfits from Oxford that kidnapped the grandson of a rich African-American businessman. The scouts take their inspiration for the caper upon reading the Greenlease's kidnapping. That's them. You have to be one of those people to, wow. And you had to go right off and kill him instead of, hold him for actual ransom. That makes... Oh, it's so annoying. Okay, where was it? There we go. Okay, we'll do a little bit of this. Wow, there is nothing here. There's hardly anything. We'll look more up on Virginia Piper kidnapping later. Virginia Piper, the wife of Harry Bobby Piper, the chairman and CEO of the Minneapolis, Minnesota investment from Piper, Jeffrey and Hopwood, Inc., was kidnapped on July 27, 1972, while gardening outside her home in Minnesota. She was held chained to a tree for 2 nights in J. Cook Street Park near Dalton. After receiving a ransom payment of $1 million from her husband, the kidnappers called an unconnected person and told them her location. Shortly afterwards, Piper was found and released by the FBI. The kidnappers received national attention for several reasons. The premise of the victim and her husband, the time, broad daylight, and location, a large and open estate of her kidnapping. The time of the arrest of the 2 men eventually charged with the crime just days before the 5 years status of limitations expired in 1977, the inquiry on appeal in 1979, and the fact that only 4,000 of the ransom the kidnappers received was ever recovered. Both the book, All the President's Men, and its 1975 film adaptations. We'll have to see if we can find more. I'm also going to do a series on like movies that may or may not be based on true things. We'll see. But that was not a lot of information on her. I'll have to go back and look.